To me, Shia Islam is, it is reason, it is logic, it is truth, it is love, it is devotion, it is peace.
Did you assume that all converts were Sunni? Think again. We're not here to debunk Shia beliefs or discuss them. I am a sociologist, not a theologian. I'm interested in what people do and why do they do it. So I have no problems with Shiaism because my philosophy in life is very, very simple. Whether you're a Christian, an atheist, a Muslim, a Hindu, my question for you is, are you being a mercy on earth to those around you, or are you harming people? And if you have different beliefs, as said in the Quran, then to you your beliefs and to me mine. Okay, they may have different beliefs and rituals than Sunnis. Why do Christians who believe that Jesus is God don't get as much hate? Why do some Sufis who believe in the intercession of saints don't get as much hated? Sunni Muslims claim that Shias insult the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the companions. But then, when it's people on the far right who make a living out of insulting Muslims and Islam, they get invited on podcasts. Where's the logic? If I understand Islam correctly, you don't persecute people for their beliefs. This is between them and God. If there's any shirk, it is going to be in the day of the judgment. And my problem with Sunni Shia debate video is that it becomes completely emotional. It's like clashes between supporters of two football teams. But again, watch my videos about in and out group theory, extrinsic, intrinsic values. Identity politics is not based on reason, facts, figures, logic, but rather emotions and symbols. And you know what? It's actually that Shia bashing that leads some people to embrace Islam, but embrace specifically Shia Islam.
So at that time, there was a lot of propaganda against Islam, and especially Shia Islam.
Like Shia does all of these sort of rumors you hear about Shia.
I remember as a little girl reading that Sunnis were the moderate Muslims and that Shias were the extremists.
This was a Shia lecture that I was watching, and part of me was just like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this.
There's lots of different reasons why do people embrace Shia Islam. But if you listen to the stories and if you cut out the Shia bit, it's very, very similar to any story of people embracing Islam or embracing any other kind of religion or belief system. Some people embrace Shia Islam because some phenomena they interpret as signs or miracles.
So when I was on this bus trip, I turned and I looked out the window just to see the scenery like anybody on a bus trip would do. And I literally saw the ayats of Allah, the signs of Allah.
The one day I had a dream. The following night, I had a dream again.
Sometimes it's a friend or a relative that introduces them to Shia Islam.
I studied at the university there, and the first woman I saw wearing the headscarf, the hijab, I ran to her. She came from an Iraqi background, Shia as well.
What happened, a friend of mine was Muslim. At the time I became Muslim, I knew some Sunnis, but most of the Muslims I knew were Shia at the time.
I met my husband when I was 16. I started high school then. Since I then met my husband, I sort of started asking him questions. Shia's arguments were really logical.
So the brother, I basically asked him, what is the difference?
Some other people embrace it because they've read things.
I went to the library just looking for a Quran and I found the Nahj al-Balagha. And when I read the words of Imam Ali, it just blew me away.
And that was the night when I came home. I Googled how to become a Muslim.
Upon studying the Twelver school of thought, I found that to be the most consistent.
Well, one Muslim come up to me, asked me, he said, "Are you Sunni or are you Shia?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I've never heard these words before, you know." And one brother said, "Here, read these books, you know." And I started reading the history of Islam after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, what happened and what transpired after his death. And I concluded that I was Shia.
Listen to these arguments and think they actually make sense. And I learned so much. All these misconceptions I had about Shia Islam, they just disappeared.
In some cases, this is because they find incoherences, things that appear to them incoherent in Sunni narratives.
When they give you the reason behind fasting on Ashura, it doesn't make any sense.
The Sahaba and the wives of the Prophet, you know, you cannot criticize them at all. Like, any slight criticism, that means that you're a disbeliever.
Is that Sunnis believe in Qadr. They believe everything is predestined. But us Shia, we believe, but there's also other things that we have a free will in. We have a limited free will. He said that the Sunnis believe that all Sahaba were good. They were infallible.
Let me pause on that statement for 1 second. If you have a little bit of experience or knowledge in this field, you know that Sunni Muslims have usually no problem acknowledging that the companions are not beyond criticism. They were not prophets, they were not demigods. And the belief in destiny and the free will is literally the same. But these comments highlight another issue. The issue here is not what's written in the text, it's about how do people present Sunni Islam.
When I was 17, I met my first boyfriend, and he was actually a Sunni Muslim, quite abusive with me.
My Sunni Muslim friend from the group that I mentioned before, he started becoming more observing in his faith. When he would speak, it would somewhat be aggressive.
I tried to go to several different Sunni masjids in my area and actually found quite a lot of discrimination against me. I started to think, well, maybe this is how Muslims really are.
And when it's people who do not have a thorough knowledge or think they have thorough knowledge of the religion and present it to others, this is how misconceptions form. This is where it gets interesting with people who were Sunni, who were exposed to Sunni Islam and then embrace Shia Islam.
I was a Sunni before.
I get a credential to teach English as a second language, and I go to Algeria.
So it ended up me being in the Sunni communities for 2 years.
I took it upon myself to start learning some of the Sunni madhabs. I took it upon myself to learn the fiqh of the Hanafi school as much as I could.
Out of kind of sheer curiosity, I decided to give it a chance. And the speaker was Dr. Sayyid Amar Naqshbandi.
Okay, let's clarify something because I see trolls coming into the comments. Sayyid Amar Naqshbandi is not Naqshbandi. Naqshbandi is a Sufi tariqa. And Sayyid Amar Naqshbandi does not celebrate Raksha Bandhan, which is a South Asian, traditionally Hindu festival.
What? What? Doesn't make any sense.
Okay, it sounds similar, but it's not the same thing.
Naqshbandi, Naqshbandi, Raksha Bandhan.
They actually make sense.
No, yeah.
So I have personally met people who have embraced Shia Islam, in particular some imams, people who are really well read. But ironically, it's not exactly the text that made them do the jump. It's the people and the connection of Shia Muslims with the oppressed around the world, whether it is around Palestine or things like Black Lives Matter. The most vocal in all these movements for justice were very often Shia Muslims. And I'm talking about the UK and the United States, obviously.
You see so much injustice, so much, and you don't know how to deal with it. Like, we all carry this pain with us. Will I pass on the pain to other people, or will I deal with it in the same way that the Prophet and his family, peace be upon them, did?
There is a tradition in Shia Islam that carries on over generations and that stem from the massacre of Karbala. Add to this the fact of being a minority and often an oppressed minority, whether it is in the East or in the West. People start building and carry on over generations a collective consciousness, a collective empathy, which makes them very attuned to the suffering of people around the world. Because if you have been rejected and oppressed, you are more likely to support those who experience similar things. That's psychology applied to the level of a whole society. And of course, I'm generalizing. So while I guess some people would be very upset to see that these people have embraced specifically Shia Islam, to me, I just see people who have found the ways of God. People have found inner peace. Because for me, if someone doesn't believe in anything and embraces a religion and acquire as a religion a framework, it's not just not an identity, it's a framework for life that pushes this person to be a better person, or even someone who doesn't believe in anything, but makes the step forwards, becoming a better person, I'm really happy for them. Whatever makes people better people, I'm all for it. Beliefs is something very intimate, very subjective, that cannot be forced upon people. It has to come from the inside. And whatever people believe, as I say again, is between them and God. To you, your beliefs, and to me, mine. In their journey, it's things that have resonated with them subjectively that they choose to follow.
It really resonated with fundamental values that I had.
But these people who embrace Shia Islam after being Sunni, I think they hold us a mirror to how do we present things and what make them make the jump and reject in the first place Sunni Islam because of what people said or how they behave. So how does our behavior or our words impact the perceptions of Islam and Muslim in others? That's the question. Are we turning people away or are we being examples? I hope this video was useful, and again, take care of each other and yourselves.